something exciting. We're going to patina these two art pieces here. We're going to start off by patinaing this particular one right here, which is the Promised Land. And let's get into it. Got to clean up, move some bowls around, get everything set up for us to patina this particular piece of art. We're ready to go now. We've got our patinas ready. Today we're going to be using the Iron B metal coating from Sculpt Novu. It's really nice stuff. Been using this series of products from this company for a while. We're going to also use the black patina on top of that. So we're going to go through the process of how that's done. It's a pretty quick process. This is a liquid latex-based metal coating, which means that you can paint it on all kinds of things. Things that basically don't deteriorate, you know, and even probably things that do if it's only a temporary art project. So anyway, wonderful stuff. Check out Art Novu. They're, I believe, a North County based Southern California company, but who knows, these days they could be shipping products everywhere. Anyway, let's jump into it. We've got our piece ready. We're going to put on a couple of coats of Iron B coating first. First we put one on, let it dry, then we put another on and immediately patina it. So here we go. See that? Yeah, this is called the Promised Land. This is a limited series tile that I make. And this is high fire glazed at this point. And we're going to try to make the figures look a little bit different. This is a Iron B metal coating from Sculpt Novu, and it is again a metallic coating, latex based, paintable. And we're going to put several coatings on this, and then we're going to use a black oxide colorant on it, kind of rub that in. We don't want to get, again, too much on here, and we don't want any on the blue, so we're going to be very careful about not getting any on the blue. And yet we have to work a little rapidly to get enough on before it completely dries. We want to put it on quick enough to get a nice uniform coat. There we go. Come back in a minute and cut in. Alright, this is being very easy. Keep it stirred up. Metals like to settle on the bottom. Yeah. So basically I'm going to patina this because I want to see if I like this new color better. Not too happy the way this particular one turned out. It's not bad, but it's not fantastic, and there's a lot of work that goes into each one of these pieces. Besides making the original one and then making a plaster mold of that, after each piece is cast, I hand carve in all the undercuts and detail work so that each particular one becomes a unique piece. So in that way, yes, they're mass produced, but no, they're not identical. No two are ever going to be alike, because each time I do it, I do slightly different things. So we want this to go on thin enough that it doesn't take a lot of the detail away, or any, because these are pretty detailed pieces. And we want to have the emotion of the figurines translate through the patina just as they are. And if we paint too much on here, then we're going to lose that. All right, so we've got the thick stuff for the big areas done. Now we have to do the tougher areas. attained the dry value I wanted, and we're going to go ahead and add some more iron coating, and then we're going to add this patina here to it and see what comes of that. It's over here. So this time we're being a little more careful about how we put on our patina. We're stippling in certain areas and we're stroking in other areas, just in case those lines leave definition on the sculpture. I don't think it will, but I'm not willing to take the chance. And it's not that hard to do. Yeah. All right, so now that we've got our second coat of iron bead coating on here, we're going to put that away. Get that cap nice and tight. Don't want that to dry out. And we're going to immediately start putting on our patinas, which is just a matter of just working that into the existing iron bead coating, because we want it to get in there. We want it to do its thing. So we're basically just brushing in, making sure we get it all over the wet patina, the wet coating area, so we can do the patina thing, so we could basically start rustifying, or gosh, there's a proper word for this and I'm just drawing a blank, but basically chemically changing the surface and oxidizing the surface. All right, here we go. There we go. We've got it on. We're not so concerned about getting some on the back, because it really won't do anything to the areas that don't have the iron bead coating on it. A little scratchy today. All right, why don't we get to a close-up shot here and watch it as it changes. Here we go. Hey, we're back, and everything has had a chance to dry out and do its thing, and I think it's all good. It's all good news. I'm certainly in love with this tile now. It has turned out incredibly well, and I took a picture of it, so here's what that looks like. All right, I hope you like it as much as I do. I like that it's dark because it does show the momentous thing in the picture as itself. So it is a picture of the border fence here down in San Diego as I interpret it, and a family in front of the fence. And like I said, this piece is called the Promised Land, and I think it turned out real well. Next step for this piece is to put it in a frame and sell it to someone. We're back out in the shop now. We're going to continue on with the patina project of Promised Land. We're actually going to make a frame for it. And I picked up this frame at a thrift store, actually a yard sale now that I think about it, and didn't have a really important picture in it. In fact, the picture was in it was pretty yucky. But the frame looked fun. So I kept the frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this frame, we're going to chop it up and make a frame for a much smaller piece over there, the Promised Land. And we'll probably have to fool with some of this paper that's on the back. I've already measured out a couple of cuts, so we're going to go ahead and jump into that. But basically, we theoretically just have to cut and then figure out what that's going to be, cut, glue the corners together. Boom, we've got a frame. Silicone it onto that frame and get the hanger on it, and it's ready to go. All right, so I'm not going to do a lot of talking. Pretty simple stuff. Just make cuts, try to make them right, and move forward. So here we go. There we go. There's a quick look at where we're at. You can see there's still quite a gap, so we're going to have to trim this down a little bit until we get it right. But we're on the right path. So let me go ahead and trim on this for a little bit and then come back. Well, I've gone and I've cut all the parts that we need, which is basically a right and a left or X and Y. And I've set up this jig. That's a very simple jig. I'm allowed to put screws in my tabletop because these are mostly usable, disposable tops. Anyway, what I've done is used the wedges that I have in the shop. I always have a box of wedges. And I've screwed cleats to the tabletop that I'm going to use to wedge the frame together. So this way I don't have to get out the long bar clamps, I don't have to get out the major corner clamp assembly, I don't have to make it flat, I don't have to do a lot of things. I just have to put this together, tap it, let the glue do its job. Now what I do have to do is get behind here and put some paper, have all my shims in the right place, have my glue. So very simple thing to do it this way. Get down inside of some of this here. Just little tiny bits of glue down in there that if we get now makes our lives a lot easier than they would tomorrow. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? All right, I like this. I really like that the fact that I've been able to reuse this one and make wonders with it. Okay. Let's give you a close-up real quick and then step you back. So there's what the corner looks like. You can see it's pretty darn good. This one over here looks pretty good. That's what the overall looks like. The next step, clean up your mess, Mark, and then let the glue dry. Don't mess with it. Don't fudge the table, don't knock it. Probably in a couple hours, because it's particle board and hot today and etc., this will dry up pretty quick, be pretty strong, and be ready for us to actually mount it into the promised land. So stick around, we'll be right back to do that. It's the next morning now, well, late morning, and we're going to take this out of its clamps, out of its holder. I wanted to say clamps, but it's really just wedges and boards. So it's not like the clamps that I normally think of when I think of clamps, you know. All right, came right out. And it looks great. There we go. Look at that. So I think that turned out really nice. Yeah, pretty easy to do. Simple on the back. And grab this blanket here. So the next thing I need to do before I mount the artwork into it is put hangers on it. Now we're fortunate there was a hanger that was on here to begin with. Is still got holes right here on the one side, and we'll just have to match these on the other so we know where to put it. Yeah. So what do we got here? 6 inches from the top. And 1.25 inches from the inside. So that's where the one hole is going to be. Let's get these mounted. Once these are mounted, I can then glue the artwork into the frame, which when I say glue, I'm just going to be using some silicone to lock it in there. And what's nice about the silicone is you can cut it out later. So if somebody wanted to upgrade this and put it into a different frame, it wouldn't be a big deal. Wouldn't be as nice as having simple clips, but this is a bit heavier of a piece of art, so we really don't want that coming out, because you got simple metal tabs or something like that holding it in. All right, so that was nice and easy that it went right back into that one. You have all the tools right handy. There we go. I'm liking that a lot better. So, there we go. The next thing is to take the artwork, put it on a pedestal, and we're going to do it with just these two blocks. And then we're going to put this on here like this. And there it fits. I said there it fits. There we go. And there is a little bit of wiggle room, and so there's a little bit of wiggle room, and that's important. So here's what this looks like, so you have an idea. And so with those two shots, the second shot shows you basically the gap between the artwork and the existing frame. And we have probably 1/8 of an inch in one direction and nothing in the other. So we want to be able to set this on here and wiggle it. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using silicone to stick this on here. And I'm going to be using a black silicone. I'm also going to use the silicone to kind of dress up the woodwork here a little bit. It's kind of a cheat that I figured out. And it gives a little texture and gives a little interest without me having to spend a lot of time playing around with it. So I'm just going to squirt a little bit of schmooey or window caulking. This is actually an exterior latex black all-weather door and window Dynaflex Ultra Home Depot special. So there's my goo. I just take a little bit of it and I put it here. I don't want to have too much because I don't want it burgling back out into the inside of the frame and look like it's piled up. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just want it to be a little bit there. I've got the silicone smoothed out on the wood. Let's go ahead and set this on top. Very simple operation, right? I always say that, but then it always ends up being harder than you think. Why is it not going? Let's try the other direction. There it is. All right, now we got to get our right-left justification. So we're about 1/4 of an inch there, and we're about 1/4 of an inch there. And I know it doesn't really do anything up and down. And a little push. There we go. So it's a very subtle thing. It's not a very dramatic thing to see that silicone in there. And at this point, we're set up and done until later today, when I can flip this back over and then put more caulking in between this joint down here. And that will really be what bonds this. This will bond it pretty well. I don't know if you've ever done things with silicone before, but silicone is wonderful for so many things. I use clear silicone to put so many things together, whether it be in construction or art or whatnot. But never underestimate the power of a good silicone connection with working with things, especially glass and whatnot. So anyway, stand by. We'll be back later to flip this over and caulk the back, and pretty much this is done. Check this out. Doesn't that look great? Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Turned out really nice. Let's see, but that's probably right about there. There we go. Get a good look at that, because we're going to put it upside down here. We're going to set it right down here again, gently. And we're going to thread some cable in here in a most unprofessional way. No. So I had the end here. There it is. It ran away. Okay, we'll just be careful with this so it doesn't turn into an absolute mess. Well, let's go ahead and now we better unravel some first. It's a pretty strong cable. Might even have the package that said it's labeled for, but I've been using this for a while. We're gonna just put that loop in there, come around here, and make some 90-degree circular go around and see if this is gonna work. I think it will. If we make that 90 enough, or perpendicular to the main wire, and then we'll put a piece of tape or something on that. What do we got? Nothing pretty. All right. Let's give us a little bit of extra. Way better than being short. So if we want that to be about there, that looks good. And we repeat on this side. Perpendicular, nice tight bends. Okay. So this has been sitting out all day in the sun after being slathered on the back with some caulking to lock this in place. So this piece of art is nice and tight, but yet you could just cut this silicone joint here and pop it free if you ever wanted to move it out of this frame. All right, so let's cut this and cut that. And okay, there we go. So I can now consider this art piece done. Especially if it has a excuse me. All right, we're gonna end this episode here. We've done this bit of work. We've got one of my tiles installed into a frame. The frame was a recycled frame, or upcycled. I love that term. And it's all ready to go on the market. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned something. I definitely taught things about the patina you probably haven't known, so check it out. Try patining some things. It's very simple and wonderful results in all kinds of ways you can't even imagine. And anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll have some more content next week. Thank you.